Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I am bringing you my to be read pile for Victorian October or Victober. This is an annual readathon that is hosted throughout the entirety of October by Katie, Kate, Ange and Lucy, and I will leave all of their announcement videos linked down below in the description if you want to find out more about the readathon and get some recommendations for books you might want to read if you are participating. Victober is one of my absolute favourite readathons and I always really look forward to it, but I feel like it crept up on me this year. When I saw everyone's announcement videos go up, I was like, oh my god, how is it this time of year already? But I can be really bad at reading classics, so every year I feel like Victober is like a kick up the bum and a sense of motivation for me to tackle some of the classics goals that I have set myself. There are five challenges and a couple of group reads that you can participate in if you would like, or you can just read whatever Victorian literature takes your fancy. And I'm going to try and do all of the challenges, but I do have one major goal that I've set myself, which is quite a monumental task. And this book fulfills the challenge to read a book by a female author and to read a book that is either under 250 pages or over 500 pages. And when I saw that challenge, my instinct was, I'm obviously going to do under 250 pages. But then I realised I have a lot of big Victorian books on my TBR that I need to tackle. So I am going to be reading Daniel Deronda by George Eliot, which is like nearly 900 pages, which is a lot larger than books I tend to read normally. My sweet spot is like 300 and something pages, so this is like treble that. But I have read two George Eliot books in the past, both of which are a lot larger than books I normally read, and I loved both of them. Middlemarch in particular is probably my favourite Victorian book of all time, and I didn't expect it to be. So I have set myself a long-term goal of reading all of George Eliot's novels. So I figured I should at least read one of them this year. I am expecting this to carry on into November. That's fine with me. I want to appreciate it. I don't know too much about the plot of this book other than it has depiction of the Jewish experience in British society at the time. And I don't know how kind of accurate that is, whether it warrants criticism, but I'm really intrigued to find out. I think one of the things that is so great about Victorian novels is seeing them not only as the stories themselves, but as like historical references. So yes, looking forward to the challenge of this one. But with the rest of my TBR, I have gone quite easy on myself to compensate. The next challenge is to reread a Victorian book. And for this, I am going for Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is probably on par with Middlemarch as my favourite Victorian book. I'm sure you guys know all about this story, but it is one of my favourite books because you can read it kind of passively and just enjoy it as like a children's story, or you can really dive into it and analyse, again, it as a historical reference for British society at the time. I reread this every couple of years and I always read it in one sitting, so I think this will be a very cosy read for me. The next challenge is to read an underrated Victorian book published in the same year as your favourite. So I looked at both Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Middlemarch for this and used those as my like year references. And part of Middlemarch, the latter half of it, was published in 1852. And the only book I could find that was already on my TBR from 1852 was Under the Greenwood Tree by Thomas Hardy. And I guess that's not one of his most well-known books, so I guess it's underrated. It's a really slim one as well. I do have a physical copy of it, but it is at my mum's house, so I'm probably going to read it on ebook. And that's one of the great things about Victober, is that because the texts are in the public domain, they're out of copyright, you are able to get copies of the books you want to read for free, and that makes it really accessible, which is great. The next challenge is to read a book by Candlelight, paying tribute to how Victorian readers would have consumed their books. I will regularly get into bed and light some candles and do my reading, so this is an easy challenge for me. I will probably either do this challenge with the Alice novel or one of the group reads, which are The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde, which I've already read, and A Woman of No Importance by Oscar Wilde, which I've never read before. So I think I will definitely read the second one. If I don't find a physical copy of that secondhand somewhere, I will also be reading that on ebook, so it doesn't really make sense to be reading that by Candlelight, so it probably will be Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I also have a couple of books that aren't Victorian, but they are somehow related, which I may pick up these books, I'm not sure. But the first of those is Charlotte Bronte, A Life by Claire Harmon. This is a biography of Charlotte Bronte, most well known for writing Jane Eyre, and lots of other books as well. I think I would be more inclined to pick this one up if I was reading one of her books for this readathon. I did consider reading Villette. Actually, initially I had chosen to read Villette and not Daniel Deronda, but the thing that swayed me to reading Daniel Deronda was the fact that it is quoted in The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. I'm not sure if I will pick this one up. I may wait until I'm reading one of Charlotte's books. And I also have this collection of short stories called Return to Wonderland, which is essentially stories all related to Alice in Wonderland. So I think it would be a lot of fun to read these two close together. But we shall see how I get on. I do feel like Daniel Deronda will take up a lot of my reading time. So this is my TBR for Victober. I am not sure how well I will get on with it, but we shall see. I'm going to give it my best go. Let me know in a comment down below if you are participating in Victober and what you are most excited to read. As ever, all of these books will be linked down below in the description if you want to find out more about them. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I will talk to you in my next video.